Shi-hoon stopped walking on the sidewalk, staring through the bistro window. There was Peyton, the wife who ran off 4 years ago without saying anything. But what made him stop breathing was the 3 little kids with her. The boy had his same serious face. One girl pushed up her glasses just like him. The other had his stubborn chin. Shi-hoon held his briefcase tighter. Inside were divorce papers he'd flown here to get signed. But now, looking at these kids who looked just like him, those papers felt super heavy. What was Peyton hiding? Have you ever discovered a secret so big it changed your entire life in a single heartbeat? Stay with me, because what happens next will leave you speechless. Shi-hoon stood frozen on that San Francisco sidewalk, his world tilting on its axis. 4 years. 4 years since Peyton had vanished from their Seoul penthouse without a word. 4 years of wondering what he'd done wrong. 4 years of his father, Min-jun, the head of their family's empire, reminding him that love was a weakness and Peyton leaving was proof. And now, here she was, in a modest bistro in the Sunset District, wearing jeans and a simple sweater instead of the designer clothes he used to buy her, her beautiful deep brown skin glowing in the afternoon light, her natural hair pulled back in a ponytail, looking like she belonged here, in this quiet neighborhood, far from the glittering danger of Seoul. But it wasn't Peyton that held Shi-hoon's attention. It was the children, 3 of them. Maybe 3, almost 4 years old, sitting at a table with coloring books and apple slices. The boy, serious dark eyes, black hair cut short, expression that could have been lifted straight from Shi-hoon's own childhood photos, methodically colored inside the lines. One girl, wearing glasses too big for her small face, pushing them up her nose in a gesture Shi-hoon had done 1,000 times, organized crayons by color. The other girl, round cheeks, his mother's smile, his stubborn chin, chatted animatedly while coloring what appeared to be a very purple dinosaur. Triplets. His triplets. Shi-hoon's hand went to his chest, pressing against the place where his heart was trying to break through his ribs. Peyton had been pregnant when she left. Peyton had been carrying his children and hadn't told him. Peyton had given birth alone and raised them for almost 4 years without him. A tsunami of emotions crashed over him. Rage, betrayal, grief, wonder, joy, terror. But underneath it all, a single thought burned white hot. She took my children from me. Shi-hoon's phone buzzed. His second-in-command, Park Jae-sung, calling from Seoul. "Not now," Shi-hoon said, his voice rough. "Boss, your father wants to know if you got the papers signed yet. He says it's time to close that chapter and focus on the family business. He's arranged a meeting with the Choi organization for next week." "I said not now." Shi-hoon hung up. The divorce papers in his briefcase felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds. He'd flown to San Francisco for one reason, to finally, legally end his marriage to the woman who'd abandoned him, to prove to his father, and to himself, that he was done with the weakness of loving someone. But those 3 children in the window had just rewritten everything. Shi-hoon took a breath, straightened his expensive suit jacket, touched the edge of the traditional Korean dragon tattoo that peeked out from his collar, the mark of his family's organization, the symbol of power and danger that had probably driven Peyton away in the first place. Then he walked into the bistro. The bell above the door chimed. Peyton looked up, their eyes met. And Shi-hoon watched the color drain from her beautiful face as she recognized the man she'd run from 4 years ago. The man she'd loved, the man she'd left, the father of her children. Shi-hoon. Her voice was barely a whisper. The 3 children turned to look at him. 6 eyes, dark like his, curious, innocent, studied this stranger in an expensive suit. "Mommy, who's that?" the girl with glasses asked. Peyton's hands were shaking. "Kids, why don't you go wash your hands in the bathroom, all of you, together?" "But we didn't finish coloring," the boy started. "Now, Jacob, take your sisters, please." The seriousness in her voice made all 3 children scramble. The boy, Jacob, took both his sister's hands and led them toward the back of the bistro, looking over his shoulder with suspicious eyes that were far too knowing for a 3-year-old. When they were gone, Shi-hoon sat down across from Peyton. Silence stretched between them. 4 years of it. Finally, Peyton spoke. "How did you find me?" I hired investigators 4 years ago. They found you 6 months later. I've known where you were this whole time. Shihoon's voice was controlled, deadly calm. I just chose not to come. Until now. Why now? He pulled the divorce papers from his briefcase, set them on the table between them. Because my father said it was time to make it official, time to stop living in limbo, time to move on. Peyton stared at the papers like they were a snake. But that was before I saw them, Shihoon continued. Those children, my children, the ones you stole from me. I didn't steal. You left while pregnant with my babies and didn't tell me. What would you call that? Peyton's dark eyes filled with tears. But she didn't cry. She'd never been a crier. It was one of the things he'd loved about her, her strength. I left to save them, she said quietly. To save all of us. Save us from what? From me? From a life where they would have had everything? From your world, Shihoon. From the enemies, from the danger, from growing up knowing their father was… She stopped. Was what? Say it. Was the kind of man who has people killed, who controls half of Seoul's underground, who's in a business where people disappear. Her voice broke. I found out I was pregnant and I was terrified. Terrified that our children would grow up in that world, that they'd be targets, that they'd be used as leverage against you. So you made the decision alone. Didn't give me a choice. You wouldn't have let me go. You're damn right I wouldn't have. Shihoon leaned forward. I would have protected you, all of you, with everything I have. The way you protected your mother? The words hit like a physical blow. Shihoon's mother had died when he was 12, killed by a rival organization to send a message to his father. He still remembered finding her, still had nightmares. That's not fair, he said, his voice dangerous. It's reality. Your world kills the people you love, Shihoon, and I couldn't let that happen to our babies. Peyton wiped her eyes. So I left. I came here. I built a quiet life. I gave them safety. You gave them lies. Do they even know who I am? No, I told them their father was complicated, that he couldn't be with us. So they think I abandoned them. Better than thinking you're a criminal. Shihoon stood abruptly. The table shook. Other patrons in the bistro looked over nervously. He forced himself to sit back down, to breathe. I want to meet them, properly. Shihoon, those are my children, Peyton. I have a right. Rights? Peyton's voice rose. You want to talk about rights? Fine. You have the right to sign those papers and walk away. Pretend you never saw us. Go back to Seoul and marry someone from an appropriate family like your father wants. Have legitimate heirs who won't be in danger because of who you are. I don't want anyone else's children. I want mine. The bathroom door opened. 3 small children emerged. Jacob led his sisters back to the table, his serious little face studying Shihoon with disconcerting intelligence. Mommy, are you okay? The girl with glasses asked. I'm fine, Mira, sweetie. Who's the man? The youngest girl, Elena, Shihoon guessed from process of elimination, asked. Peyton looked at Shihoon. He looked at his children and made a decision that would change everything. I'm Shihoon, he said gently. I'm an old friend of your mother's. You made her cry, Jacob said accusingly. I did. I'm sorry. Are you here to hurt us? The question was so direct, so fearless, that Shihoon's throat tightened. This boy, his son, already protective, already brave. No, I would never hurt you, or your mother, or your sisters. Jacob studied him for a long moment. Then, apparently satisfied, he climbed back into his chair and picked up his crayon. Mira pushed her glasses up and did the same. Elena smiled at Shihoon. I'm coloring a dinosaur. Want to see? Elena, don't bother, Peyton started. I'd love to see, Shihoon interrupted. Elena beamed and held up her picture. A very purple T-Rex with what appeared to be wings. That's a very fierce dinosaur, Shihoon said seriously. Her name is Grape, because she's purple like grapes. That's a good name. Thank you. What's your name again? Shihoon? That's hard to say. You can call me… He paused. What could they call him? You can call me whatever you want. Can I call you Mr. Dragon? Because you have a dragon on your neck. Shi-hoon touched the edge of his tattoo, visible above his collar. "You can call me that." Elena nodded, satisfied, and went back to coloring. Peyton was staring at him with an expression he couldn't read. "We need to talk," she said quietly. "Privately. Tonight, after they're asleep." "Where are you staying?" She hesitated, then gave him an address. "I'll be there at 8. "Shi-hoon, 8 o'clock, Peyton. We're going to talk about this, all of it." He stood, adjusted his suit jacket, and walked out of the bistro, leaving the divorce papers on the table. Unsigned. If you're watching this, take a second and hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear this story. And subscribe, because what happens next is going to blow your mind. This community is growing because of you, and I appreciate every single one of you who's on this journey with me. Shi-hoon sat in his rental car down the block, hands shaking. He'd just met his children, his son, his daughters. They were perfect, beautiful, smart, funny, and they had no idea he was their father. He pulled out his phone, called Jae-sung. "Tell my father I'm staying in San Francisco, indefinitely." "Boss, the Choi meeting. Reschedule it. Tell him." Shi-hoon paused. "Tell him I found something that requires my attention." "What did you find?" "My family." He hung up. Then he sat in that car for 3 hours, watching the bistro, watching Peyton and the children through the window, memorizing every detail. The way Jacob was so serious, so protective of his sisters. The way Mira organized everything, lined up her crayons, arranged her apple slices by size. The way Elena talked constantly, smiled at everyone, found joy in everything. His children. At 7:45, they left the bistro. Shi-hoon followed at a distance, watched them walk 3 blocks to a modest apartment building, watched Peyton unlock the door to a ground-floor unit, watched through the window as she got the children ready for bed, and at exactly 8 o'clock, he knocked on that door. Peyton answered. She'd changed into comfortable clothes. Her hair was down. She looked tired, beautiful, exactly like he remembered and completely different at the same time. "They're asleep," she said. "Can I see?" She hesitated, then nodded. Led him down a short hallway to a bedroom. 3 small beds. 3 sleeping children. Jacob clutching a stuffed lion. Mira with a book on her pillow. Elena sprawled across her bed with blankets kicked off. Shi-hoon stood in the doorway, his heart doing something painful in his chest. "They're beautiful," he whispered. "They are. They look like me. I know. Why didn't you tell me, Peyton? Why didn't you give me a chance?" She pulled him back into the living room, closed the bedroom door. "Because I knew what would happen. You'd want to bring us back to Seoul, put us in that fortress your father calls a home, surround us with security and violence and danger. And maybe we'd be physically safe, but we'd never be free. We'd never be normal." "Normal? You call this normal?" Shi-hoon gestured at the small apartment. "You're living in a studio. Working what, 2 jobs? Raising triplets alone?" 3 jobs, actually. I waitress, I do freelance graphic design, and I clean offices at night when the kids are with my neighbor. Jesus, Peyton. Don't you dare judge me. I'm doing the best I can. I'm not judging, He ran his hands through his hair. "I'm angry that you had to do it alone, that you chose to do it alone. I chose safety. I chose peace. I chose giving them a childhood where they don't know what their father does for a living. And what happens when they get older, when they start asking questions, when they want to know why their father wasn't there? I'll tell them the truth, that you're a powerful man in a dangerous world, that I left to protect them, and that I what? Didn't care enough to find them? Because I did find you, Peyton. I've known where you were for 3.5 years. I could have come any time." "Then why didn't you?" "Because you made it clear you didn't want me. You left. You chose to walk away from our marriage, from me, and I respected that choice, even though it killed me." Silence. Then Peyton said quietly, "It killed me too, leaving you, but I did it anyway, because I love them more than I loved you, more than I loved us. I would have protected them. I know. I would have given them everything. I know. So why wasn't that enough?" Peyton sat down on the worn couch, put her face in her hands. "Because protection isn't the same as peace. Because everything you could give them comes with a price. Because I didn't want them to grow up knowing their father's hands have blood on them. Shi-hoon flinched, but he didn't deny it, because it was true. I've killed people, Peyton. You know that. I've done terrible things to protect my family's empire. I'm not going to apologize for who I am. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to understand why I left. Why I had to. And I'm asking you to understand why I'm not leaving now. Not again. Those are my children. I have a right to be in their lives. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm staying. Here, in San Francisco. I'm going to get to know my kids, and we're going to figure out how to co-parent. You can't just watch me. Peyton stood. You don't understand. Your world doesn't stay in Seoul. Your enemies are everywhere. The only reason we've been safe is because no one knows where we are. If you start coming around, if people see us together, if word gets back to Korea, then I'll protect you, all of you. You can't protect us from everything. I can try. They were both breathing hard, standing too close. The air between them electric with 4 years of separation and pain and unresolved feelings. I missed you, Shi-hoon said quietly. Every day. I missed you so much it felt like dying. Peyton's eyes filled with tears. I missed you too. Then why? Because missing you isn't enough. Love isn't enough. Not when children are involved. Not when their safety is at stake. Before Shi-hoon could respond, a small voice came from the hallway. Mommy? They both turned. Jacob stood there in his dinosaur pajamas, rubbing his eyes. Sweetie? What are you doing up? I heard yelling. We're sorry, we were just talking. Jacob looked at Shi-hoon. You're still here. I am. Are you going to make Mommy cry again? I hope not. Good. Because if you do, I'll... Jacob's little face scrunched up, trying to think of an appropriate threat. You'll what? Shi-hoon asked gently. I'll tell you to leave and never come back. Shi-hoon crouched down to Jacob's level. You're a very good protector. Your mom and sisters are lucky to have you. I know. I'm the man of the family. You shouldn't have to be. You're 3 years old. Almost 4. My birthday is in 3 weeks. Shi-hoon's heart clenched. He was going to miss his children's 4th birthday. No, he was already 4 years late. Can I come to your birthday party? Jacob looked at Peyton. Can he? Mommy? Peyton looked trapped. We'll see, sweetie. Let's get you back to bed. Okay. Good night, Mr. Dragon. Good night, Jacob. After Peyton tucked Jacob back in, she returned to the living room. You can't come to the birthday party. Why not? Because I haven't told them about you. Because they think you're just some friend. Because you're afraid. Of course I'm afraid. I've built this life, this safe, quiet, normal life, and you showing up threatens all of it. Or it makes it better, stronger, safer. How? How does involving you make us safer? Shi-hoon pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. What is that? Security footage, from a camera across the street, taken 2 days ago. The photo showed a man, Korean, watching Peyton's apartment building. Who is that? Han Dong-min. He works for the Choi organization, my family's rivals in Seoul. Peyton's face went white. No. They found you, Peyton. I don't know how. Maybe someone saw me getting on a plane to San Francisco. Maybe they've been watching my movements. Maybe it's coincidence, but they're here. You led them to us. No, they were already here. This photo is from before I arrived. They've been watching you for at least a week. Oh God, the kids are safe, for now. But we need to move, tonight. What? No. We can't just... Peyton, listen to me. The Choi family doesn't play games. If they know about you, if they know about the children, they'll use you as leverage. They'll take the kids, hurt them, use them to control me. This is exactly why I left. And running made you a target. They see you as my weakness. And they're right. Peyton was shaking. What do we do? We pack, right now. Adventure bags for the kids. Make it seem fun like a surprise trip. We leave in 30 minutes. And go where? Somewhere safe. A place I own that's off the grid. A cabin in Tahoe. Then we figure out the next move. Shi-hoon, I can't just uproot them. You already did, 4 years ago. Now we're doing it together, as a team. Peyton looked at her children's bedroom door, then back at Shi-hoon. If we do this, there are rules. Name them. We don't tell them you're their father, not yet. They're too young to understand. Agreed. We keep them safe. That's the priority. Not your pride, not your revenge, their safety. Always. And if this goes wrong, if your world touches them in any way, I'm taking them and disappearing. For real this time. Somewhere you'll never find us. Shi-hoon wanted to argue, but he saw the steel in her eyes. She meant it. Fair enough, now pack. 28 minutes later, 3 confused but excited children climbed into Shi-hoon's rental SUV with their adventure bags. Where are we going? Mira asked. On an adventure, Peyton said, forcing cheer into her voice. Like in our storybooks, Elena asked. Exactly like that. Is Mr. Dragon coming? Yes. Good. I like him. Jacob, as usual, was more skeptical. Why are we leaving in the middle of the night? Because adventures are more fun when they're surprises, Shi-hoon said. I don't like surprises. You're going to like this one. They drove through the night. 3 children eventually fell asleep in the back seat. Peyton stared out the window, and Shi-hoon drove, one hand on the wheel, the other hand occasionally reaching over to rest on Peyton's, seeking connection, seeking forgiveness, seeking hope. She didn't pull away, and that felt like a start. The cabin in Tahoe was exactly what Shi-hoon had promised. Secluded, secure, stocked with everything they needed. By the time they arrived, the sun was rising. Kids, wake up! We're here! 3 sleepy children stumbled out of the car. Whoa, Jacob breathed, looking at the mountain lake in the distance. It's so pretty, Elena squealed. Even Mira looked impressed. Inside, the cabin was warm and cozy. There are 3 bedrooms upstairs, Shi-hoon explained. You each get your own room, with big beds and lots of books and toys. Really? Mira's eyes lit up. Really? Can we see? Go explore. The 3 children thundered up the stairs, leaving Shi-hoon and Peyton alone. This place is beautiful, Peyton said quietly. I bought it 2 years ago. Thought about bringing you here once, before you left. For what? To escape. To have a place that was just ours. Away from my father. Away from the business. Away from everything. You were planning to leave Seoul? I was planning to give you a choice. Stay and deal with my world, or come here sometimes and pretend we were normal people. You never told me. You left before I could. Peyton sat on the couch. I'm sorry. For what? For running, for not trusting you, for all of it. Shi-hoon sat beside her. I'm sorry too, for being who I am, for bringing danger into your life, for not being able to give you normal. I didn't marry you expecting normal. What did you expect? I don't know. Love, partnership, a future. You could have had all of that. Not without the danger, not without the violence, not without watching you become more and more like your father every day. I'm nothing like my father. Aren't you? You control people. You make them afraid. You solve problems with force. To protect what's mine. See? That's exactly what he would say. Before Shi-hoon could respond, Elena appeared at the top of the stairs. Mommy, my room has a window seat. And books. So many books. That's wonderful, baby. Come see. I will. In a minute. Elena disappeared again. Peyton stood. I should help them settle. Peyton, wait. What? We're going to figure this out. All of it. I promise. Don't make promises you can't keep. I've never broken a promise to you. You promised to always put me first. Then you chose your father's business over our marriage. That's not what happened. Yes, it did. Every time there was a conflict, every time I asked you to choose between me and the family business, you chose them. So I left. And I took the only part of us that mattered. Those children matter, but so do you. Peyton's eyes filled with tears. Don't do this. Do what? Make me hope. Make me think we could try again, because we can't. This is just a temporary arrangement until we figure out how to keep them safe. And then what? You disappear again? I don't know. Maybe. I won't let you. You don't get a choice. I'm their father. And I'm their mother. I've been their mother alone for almost 4 years. You don't get to just walk in and... Mommy? Why are you yelling? Jacob stood on the stairs. Mira and Elena behind him. All 3 children looked scared. Peyton immediately softened. I'm sorry, babies. We were just... talking. It sounded like fighting, Jacob said. We were disagreeing. That's different. Are we in danger? Jacob asked. Way too perceptive for a 3-year-old. No, sweetie, you're completely safe. Then why did we leave our house? Peyton looked at Shihoon helplessly. He knelt down. Because sometimes adventures happen quickly, and this is a good adventure, I promise. I want to go home, Jacob said. This is going to be your home for a little while. I don't want a new home. I want our apartment. Jacob, I want my things. I want my school. I want my friends. He started crying. Within seconds, both sisters were crying too. Peyton gathered all 3 children in her arms. It's okay. It's all going to be okay. But over their heads, she mouthed to Shihoon, Fix this. And Shihoon realized that's exactly what he had to do. Fix everything he'd broken. Starting now. Over the next week, Shihoon learned what it meant to be a father. He learned that Mira needed her stuffed rabbit to sleep, that Elena refused to eat anything green unless it was covered in cheese, that Jacob tested every boundary, every rule, every promise. He learned that bedtime took an hour and involved 3 stories, 2 songs, and at least 4 glasses of water, that the words "I'm bored" could be spoken 50 times a day, that watching them laugh was the best thing he'd ever experienced, and watching them cry was the worst. He also learned that Peyton was an incredible mother, patient, creative, firm when needed, gentle always. She made pancakes shaped like animals. She turned cleaning up into a game. She knew exactly when each child needed a hug versus a timeout versus a distraction. And she did it all while working remotely, taking care of the cabin, and pretending everything was fine. One night, after the kids were asleep, Shihoon found her crying in the kitchen. What's wrong? Everything. Nothing. I don't know. She wiped her eyes. I'm tired. I'm scared. I don't know how long we can stay here, or what happens next, or if my kids will ever have a normal life again. Shihoon sat beside her. They will. I promise. Stop making promises. I can't, because I mean them. Peyton looked at him. What do you want, Shihoon? Really? I want my family back. I want you. I want them. I want all of us together. That's not realistic. Why not? Because your life is in Seoul. Because your father would never accept me back. Because my father doesn't control me anymore. Since when? Since I told him I wasn't coming back to Seoul without my family. Peyton stared. You told him about the kids? Yes. What did he say? He wants to meet them. Absolutely not. Peyton, no! Your father is the reason I left. He made it clear I wasn't good enough for his family, that I was a distraction, that I was making you weak. He was wrong. Was he? Or did you prove him right by choosing the business over me every single time? Shihoon flinched. I was young, stupid, trying to prove myself to him. And now? Now I don't care what he thinks. I care about you. And them. Easy to say when we're hiding in a cabin. What happens when we go back to real life? We figure it out. Together. You keep saying that. Together. But we haven't been together in 4 years. We're strangers now. Are we? He reached for her hand. She pulled away. Don't. Please don't make this harder. Why are you so afraid of letting me back in? Because I can't go through losing you again. I can't watch you choose your father's world over us again. I can't... Shihoon kissed her, desperate, hungry. 4 years of missing her pouring into that kiss. For a moment, Peyton kissed him back. Then she shoved him away. No, we can't. This isn't about us. It's about them. It can be about all of us. Not if it puts them in danger. They're already in danger. The Choi family knows about them. Because of you. Because of me trying to end our marriage. If I hadn't come to San Francisco, they would have found us anyway. Your world always finds what it wants. They were both breathing hard. I hate this, Peyton whispered. I hate that I still love you. I hate that you're here. I hate that the kids are bonding with you. I hate all of it. You love me? Of course I love you. I never stopped. But love isn't enough, Shihoon. It never was. Before he could respond, his phone rang. Jae-sung. What? Boss, we have a problem. The Choi family knows about the cabin. Shihoon's blood went cold. How? We don't know, but they're coming. You have maybe 2 hours. Get me a plane, private airstrip, closest one to Tahoe. Where are you going? Seoul. We're coming home. He hung up. Peyton had gone pale. They found us. Yes, we need to move, now. Where? Korea, my father's estate. It's the only place secure enough. I can't take them there. Your father hates me. He won't, not when he meets his grandchildren. You don't know that. I do, because if he rejects them, I reject him. And the family business, all of it. You'd do that? For you? For them? In a heartbeat. Peyton stared at him. You've changed. Being a father changes you. You've only known them a week. Doesn't matter. They're mine, and I'll burn down anyone who tries to hurt them. For the first time in 4 years, Peyton smiled at him. Really smiled. There's the Shihoon I married, the one who goes to war for what he loves. I never stopped being that man. I just forgot what I was fighting for. And now? Now I remember. 90 minutes later, they were on a private plane to Seoul. 3 exhausted children slept in comfortable seats. Peyton sat rigid with fear, and Shihoon made phone call after phone call, arranging security, informing his father, preparing for war. Because that's what was coming. The Choi family had made their move, and Shihoon was going to end them, permanently. The plane touched down in Seoul at dawn. A convoy of black SUVs waited on the tarmac. Park Jae-sung bowed. Boss, welcome home. How's security at the estate? Locked down. Your father is waiting. Is he angry? Hard to tell. You know how he is. Shihoon did know. Min Jun Kang, his father, was a man who showed emotion the way glaciers showed movement. Slowly, rarely, dangerously. They drove through Seoul. Peyton stared out the window. It hasn't changed. Did you expect it to? I don't know. I guess I hoped it would feel less like home. Does it feel like home? It never did. I always felt like a visitor, like I didn't belong. You belonged to me. That's all that mattered. Except it wasn't. Your father made sure I knew that. The Kang estate rose before them, massive, fortified, beautiful. I forgot how big it is, Peyton murmured. The gates opened. Security everywhere. They pulled up to the main house, and there, on the steps, stood Min Jun Kang. 70 years old, silver hair, expensive traditional Korean clothing, and an expression carved from stone. Daddy, where are we? Elena woke up, rubbing her eyes. We're at my father's house. Why? Because we're going to stay here for a while. I thought the cabin was our adventure. This is part 2 of the adventure. The children climbed out of the car, sleepy and confused. Minjun's eyes found them immediately, and Shihoon watched something he'd never seen before. His father's face softened. Minjun descended the steps, approached the children. Hello, he said in accented English. I am Minjun, Shihoon's father. Are you our grandpa? Elena asked. Minjun looked at Shihoon, then at Peyton, then back at Elena. Yes, I am your grandfather. Cool, I never had a grandpa before. Well, now you do. Jacob stepped forward. Mommy says we're only staying for a little while. We will see. Come, you must be tired. Hungry. Minjun led them inside leaving Shihoon and Peyton standing in the courtyard. That went better than expected, Shihun said. It's not over yet. But as they followed the children inside, Shihun allowed himself a small moment of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this could work. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind. Minjun, the feared crime lord, transformed into the world's most indulgent grandfather. He hired tutors for the children, bought them everything they asked for, took them to parks and museums and restaurants, and slowly, carefully, asked Shihun questions. The boy, Jacob, he has your mother's eyes. He does. And your stubbornness. Probably. He will make a good leader someday. He's 3 years old. So were you once. Look how you turned out. Is that a compliment? It is an observation. They were in Minjun's study. Evening. The children asleep. You are staying, Minjun said. Not a question. Yes. And Peyton? She's adjusting. She still hates me. She's afraid of you. There is a difference? Yes. Minjun sipped his tea. I was wrong. About her. About making you choose. Shihun stared. His father never admitted being wrong. When she left, I told you it was for the best. That she was weak. That she would drag you down. I remember. I was protecting you from the pain I felt when your mother died. Trying to make sure you never loved someone so much that losing them destroyed you. It didn't work. Losing Peyton almost killed me. But you survived, and now you have a second chance. What are you saying? I am saying that those children, my grandchildren, they need their father. And their mother. Together. Peyton wants you. She is just afraid. Help her not to be afraid anymore. How? Show her she is safe, that you choose her, that this time you will not fail. And if I do fail? Then you will have to live with that. But at least you tried. Shihun found Peyton in the garden. She was watching the children play under the supervision of the nanny Minjun had hired. Can we talk? About what? About us. About staying. Shihun, just hear me out, please. She sighed. Fine. They walked through the garden. My father wants us to stay. He wants the children here. He wants to be part of their lives. I know, he's been amazing with them. And you? What do you want? I want them to be safe. They are safe, here. For now. But what about when the next threat comes? What about when we face it together, as a family? We're not a family, Shihun. We're co-parents, barely. We could be more. Could we? Or would you just break my heart again? I wouldn't, I swear. You don't know that. I do, because I've had 4 years to learn what life is like without you, and I never want to live that way again. Peyton stopped walking. What are you saying? I'm saying I love you. I never stopped. And I want us to try again, really try. Not for the kids, for us. That's crazy. Maybe, but it's also true. Shihun, he kissed her. Soft, gentle, full of hope. This time she didn't pull away. This time she kissed him back. And when they finally broke apart, she was crying. I'm so scared. I know. What if it doesn't work? Then at least we tried. The kids will be fine, because they'll have both of us, together. Peyton looked over at the children, Jacob helping Mira climb a tree, Elena chattering to the nanny about dinosaurs, happy, safe, loved. Okay, she whispered. Okay? Let's try, one more time. Shihun pulled her close. I won't fail you again. You better not, because if you do, I really will disappear, and you'll never find us. Fair enough. 3 months later, they enrolled the children in a prestigious international school in Seoul. On the first day, Elena's teacher asked the class to introduce their families. Elena stood up, proud and beaming. This is my family, my mommy Peyton, my brother Jacob, my sister Mira, and my daddy Shihun. He was lost for a really long time, but he found us, and now we're all together forever. The teacher smiled. That's a beautiful family, Elena. I know, we're the best family in the whole world. And watching from the back of the classroom, Shihun and Peyton held hands. Their family, broken and rebuilt, lost and found, imperfect and absolutely perfect, together, forever.